Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about a specific topic called clearance. So why am I talking about clearance? Clearance is really important in anesthesia and in other medical field because clearance help us give an estimate of how long the drug is gonna stay in the blood, and then it helps us give a maintenance dose of a drug and know what are the limit of the toxicity of the drug. So if we want to know and administer drugs, we need to know about clearance. So clearance is defined by the amount of blood clear from the blood per unit of time. So I'm gonna write it down. Clearance, this is just a basic definition, is the amount of blood clear from the drug per unit of time. So this definition is really important because it's going to help us talk about the determinant of clearance. Clearance is affected directly proportional and indirectly proportional by many variables. So clearance is directly proportional to the amount of drug or the concentration of the drug. The more we give the drug, the more it gets cleared by the body if all systems work within defined limit. So it's directly proportional to the amount of drug. It's directly proportional to the blood flow. So if we have a good flow, so it gets the blood quickly to the drug quickly to the kidneys, and it gets excreted, and it gives us a blood free from the drug per unit of time. So, and it's also directly proportional to the extraction rate. The extraction rate is a percentage of the cells to be able to pick up the drug from the blood. So the more they pick it up, the less the drug in the blood, if we can say so. So these are the factors that directly affect clearance. They are directly proportional to the clearance. Now, clearance is indirectly proportional to the half-life of the drug. So what is actually the half-life? The half-life is defined as the time necessary to have 50% of the drug excreted out of the body. So if we have a half time that is longer, so if it takes longer for a drug to get excreted, then the clearance is reduced because we end up having more of the drug in the body. So it's indirectly proportional to the half-life, and it's also indirectly proportional to the amount of drug in the central compartment. So clearance is indirectly proportional to the amount of drug in the central compartment. What is called central compartment? Central compartment is like the body system that gets most of the blood, most of the drug when we administer a drug. So part of the central body compartment system, we have the brain, we have the heart, lungs, kidneys, liver. So these are 5 main organs that receive 70% of the cardiac output, and they also make 10% of the body mass. So when we administer a drug to the body, this compartment, because it gets the higher cardiac output, gets most of the drug. And also in this compartment, because we have the kidneys and the liver, this is the compartment when the drug is gonna get eliminated. So because the kidneys are gonna excrete the blood, the drug, and the liver is gonna metabolize the drug. So if we think about all this and put the dots together, clearance is the amount of blood clear from the drug per unit of time. So if we have a drug that stays longer in the central compartment, that means our clearance is going to get reduced because the drug is in that compartment, it's not getting out of the body system. So it's inversely proportional to the amount of drug in the central compartment. Now, every body system has some particularities about its clearance. I mean, we have the renal clearance, we have the hepatic clearance. But today I'm going to talk about the hepatic clearance because most of the drugs get metabolized in the kidney by a complex of enzymes. So it's really important that we understand the clearance in the liver, because if the liver does not function properly, we can have huge issue with clearances of the drug that we administer, because most of the medication are metabolized in the liver. So the clearance of the liver, so called hepatic clearance, equal to the extraction rate times blood flow. So the clearance of the liver is directly proportional to the extraction rate and the blood flow. The more we get a good amount of blood flow in the liver, the more the blood flow get clear from the drug, because the drug is going to get metabolized by the liver cells, the hepatocytes. The extraction rate, the more the hepatocytes are able to pick up the drug from the blood, the more the amount of blood get clear from the drug, and it increases our hepatic clearance. Now, sometimes we can have defective system in the extraction rate. We might have a normal extraction rate, or we might have a low extraction rate. So how does this affect our clearance? With the extraction rate less than 0.3, less than 30%, that means we have a problem with our liver. The cells are not able to extract most of the drug from the blood. So two things are going to happen. So this kind of extraction rate is called capacity dependent. It's called capacity dependent because the liver cells are only able to extract 30% of the drug passing through the liver. So there is a problem. So the determinant of the hepatic clearance at this point is not going to be the blood flow, because no matter how good the blood flow goes to the liver, this system is not working. The medicine is not getting picked up. The clearance is still high because nothing is moving. So with this with the extraction rate less than 0.3%, two systems are gonna get involved. The enzyme. So if we have a greater enzyme activity in the kidneys, if we have a greater enzyme activity, our clearance is going to go up, because the more the drug gets metabolized, the more it's free from the blood, and it increases our clearance. So the clearance is going to be directly proportional to the enzyme's activity. And the other one is going to be the protein binding. The protein binding. Now, this is going to be inversely proportional to the clearance. Let's think about it. If we have a strong protein binding, the drug is not getting extracted because the drug is stuck to the protein, and it's the unbound portion that gets picked up by the hepatocyte. So the more it's bind, So if we have an increase in our protein binding activity, we're going to have a decrease in the clearance. So this is why the extraction rate is really important, especially when we talk about hepatic clearance, because it's a system that works capacity dependent when the hepatocytes are not able to pick up the drug. Now let's say the hepatocytes are working properly and they're able to pick up to 70% of the blood. So our clearance, our hepatic clearance, is going to be solely dependent of the blood flow, because the hepatocytes are picking up the drug. The extraction rate is perfect. So if there is any problem with this hepatic clearance, it's going to be to the blood flow. And we call this perfusion dependent. Meaning, at this point, when we have a good extraction rate, our hepatic clearance is going to be solely depending on the blood flow. If the blood flow is high, the clearance is going to be high. If the blood flow is less, the clearance is going to be less, which is called perfusion dependent. All right, that's all I had about clearance. And if you find this interesting, please like, subscribe, and share. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you.